Hello friends, today we will be continuing. Yes, in the last, I think in the last video, I told you that I will be telling you some mnemonics to remember those beta receptors and all. I told you that heart is one, that means beta one should be in the heart. Lungs are two, that means I should have beta two in my bronchus. I should have beta two in my bronchus. Okay. Now listen friends, you want to vasodilate or you want to vasoconstrict when you need more blood. You need more blood, that means you want to do dilation. Who will dilate? Who will dilate? Which receptor? Yesterday's A, B, C, D. I told you those positional way of remembering. Beta 2, that's a very nice answer. Okay, now I tell you, this is alpha 1, this is beta 1, this is alpha 2, this is beta 2. I am telling you, I am telling you, I have a blood vessel. It has alpha 1 receptors also and beta 2 receptors also. I take two receptors for you. Now I am telling you I did a sympathetic nervous supply. Who both of them will be both of them will be stimulated. Both of them will be stimulated. So how you are getting a dilation? Explain why this happens. I have alpha 1 also and beta 2 also. See, I will make more. See, alpha 1, alpha 1, alpha 1, alpha 1. See, alpha 1, alpha 1, alpha 1, alpha 1. Beta 2, beta 2, beta 2, beta. Now tell me. Now I write again alpha 1, alpha 1, alpha 1, alpha 1, beta 2, beta 2, beta 2, beta 2. How they are dilating? Wow, what a wrong concept. Who told you this? I think you are coming from Mars. You are saying such unexceptional things that a person will break his clothes. So here comes the concept. That means you are rot learning, guys. Don't rot learn it. The concept is that, no, the concept is that it will depend on the number of receptors. If this is a skeletal muscle has blood vessel. This blood vessel has more amount of beta 2. This is a fact. So it will depend on the amount of receptors which are present. So if I want to increase the blood supply to the skeletal muscle, there should be more amount of beta 2. And in the skin, the blood vessels should have more amount of alpha 1. Why? Because I don't want the blood at that time in skin. I want the blood to be migrated, to be transferred to where? Diverted, not transferred, migrated. Diversion is a nice word. Diverted to my muscles. So to the muscles, okay, I won't be repeating more and more again in the video because I think the video is there. You can listen again and again, okay? So I will be teaching only once in one go and you can listen to the video again if you don't understand, okay? Because it irritates, okay? Because we are recording, so now I will be talking in a one way, okay? So this skin is having alpha 1 more so that it can vasoconstrict. Once it vasoconstricts, it will divert more blood towards the skeletal muscle, and skeletal muscle will have beta 2 which will accept more amount of blood. Okay, now you are having a sudden state of, you are a diabetes mellitus patient and you got what? You got hypoglycemia. You got a hypoglycemia. Okay, you are diabetes mellitus patient and you suddenly got a hypoglycemic episode. Okay, or I should say like this, let me say like this. You are walking on a road, okay, and you haven't eaten. Okay, you haven't eaten in the morning. You are going to the school. What happens that at around 3 p.m. in the afternoon, you get hypoglycemia. Let us give your example. You get hypoglycemia. You got hypoglycemia. That means cells are starving. Cells are not receiving the glucose. What will happen? Sympathetic system will come. He will say, oh my God, it's an emergency. This is an emergency. This is a very hard situation. What to do? What to do? Now what will happen? Once we see a thief in the area, what we do? Police station number 13 reporting. Please put the barricades and stop the traffic. Police station number 16. Please put the barricades and stop the traffic because a person has evaded. Okay. A person has evaded. He has escaped and he is on the highway number 10, highway number 15, highway number 16. So I will say police station number 16 to bring its all manpower on the road and stop this culprit. Now, same way, the sympathetic system will give me signals. It will tell the body. It will start body going into tachycardia. It will make the body going into palpitation. If it makes the body go into tachycardia, that means it is stimulating the beta 1 receptors. If it is palpating the heart, palpitations are happening, the conscious vibrations you are listening by your head, it is beta 1 stimulation. You will be having tremors. You will be having tremors because your muscle spindles are supplied by beta 2 receptors. Muscle spindles more amount of beta 2 receptors. So tremors will be beta 2 receptors. Now you are hypoglycemic. You want to prevent the hypoglycemia. So I will be making writing for you. So what will happen once you have hypoglycemia? You will have warning signs of hypoglycemia. Those are called warning signs of hypoglycemia. What are the warning signs of hypoglycemia? Tachycardia, palpitations. The receptor used is beta 1 and you will have tremors. Tremors is by beta 2. Tremors is by beta 2. Now the main reason is this was the warning symptoms of hypoglycemia. Now this hypoglycemia is telling your liver to reverse the situation in the blood. Otherwise I will die. My brain is not receiving the glucose. That is the main busiest and main person who I need to give the glucose to keep its processes happening. Now what will happen is I will start breaking my all the glycogen. I will be starting more amount of glycogenolysis. And if I don't have glycogen, I will be telling the liver to undergo gluconeogenesis. Okay, so gluconeogenesis and glycogenolysis. I will be telling the liver to make more glucose for me. If you have glycogen, please break that glycogen for me so that you can produce those glucose molecules in the circulation and I can take the glucose. If you don't have glycogen, then please take a non-carbohydrate moiety. Take a non-carbohydrate moiety, take a non-carbohydrate source so that you can produce a glucose from non-carbohydrate source. Is it clear? So you will be having a beta 2 mediated increase in the blood sugar. Your BGL has to increase. You will be doing what? You will be doing gluconeogenesis. Glycogenolysis means breaking the glycogen. Gluconeogenesis means when you are producing a glucose molecule from a non-carbohydrate moiety, non-carbohydrate source, that is called gluconeogenesis. 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 Speaking 100 times so that you can remember. But the problem is that you people are forgetting things. Okay. Yeah. So let me tell you about now I think we should go to the drugs part. Okay. Now do you remember now? Is there any doubt in remembering? Now tell me one thing. Do we know the activity, how things are active inside, like who is inhibitory? Muscarinic. From muscarinic mnemonic, what do you remember? What do you remember from the muscarinic mnemonic? We remember M1, M2, M3 and kick, isn't it? QIQ, isn't it? We remember QIQ. Now I am telling you another thing today. If you have alpha 1, you have to remember like this. Alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3. Alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3. Now these all three people, all these people, they kiss. What? They kiss. Okay, they kiss. So alpha 1 is GQ, alpha 2 is GI, beta 1 is secondary messenger GS, B2, beta 2 is GS, beta 3 is GS. Okay, that means if you stimulate alpha 1, you will be increasing the calcium, you will be increasing the calcium, and you will cause what? Vessel contraction. That's why you said alpha 1, isn't it? What happens to the pupillary dilator muscles? It will contract. Pupillary dilator muscle will contract. That is called as, now pupillary dilator muscle contracts in which way? See, if you contract this muscle, it contracts in this way. The contraction of pupillary sphincter muscle, pupillary dilator muscle is in this way. So that means mydriasis. That means mydriasis. If you stimulate this alpha 1, alpha 1, alpha 1, you will be having mydriasis. Now, will you be having intestinal contraction, spasms, or relaxation? You will be having intestinal spasm, intestinal contraction. What will happen to the bladder? Bladder sphincter will also be undergoing contraction. Going into the alpha 2. Alpha 2 is inhibitory. That means it will decrease. First thing, it is acting as a what? Switch. Do we know? Switch. It is a presynaptic switch, which is telling the neuron to stop its secretion, to stop its neurotransmitter release once there is much more amount of neurotransmitter already in the junction. And it will also tell the insulin to decrease the insulin, because you are having emergency condition. Why will you go hypoglycemia? Why will you do, why will you do lipolysis? We don't have to do lipolysis. Alpha 2 decreases lipolysis, remember. And you are in emergency, you will be stimulating alpha 2. That means your platelets will aggregate. Your platelets aggregate when you stimulate alpha 2. Platelet aggregation. Platelet aggregation happens when you have alpha 2 stimulation. And you have decreased aqueous humor production. You have decreased aqueous humor production in the eye. What about beta 1? Sir, beta 1 is all about heart. That means I will increase the heart rate. I will increase the myocardial contractility. I will be increasing the renin, and I will be increasing the lipolysis. So beta 1 increases lipolysis, alpha 2 decreases lipolysis. Is it clear? Beta 2. Beta 2 means, sir, we remember at least one example. What? Vasodilation. If you are seeing vasodilation, then you are doing bronchodilation also. Vasodilation, bronchodilation. What is the effect of beta 2 on lipolysis? I know you don't remember these things. You only remember that thing which is required. Okay. The yesterday which I have given you, that is more important to remember. But this is in another way. I am making you understand the physiology, making you listen. Okay. This is all about physiology. It's not pharmacology. It's all you should have learned in physiology. But still, I am trying to recapitulate it for you. So you increase the lipolysis, you increase the insulin release, you increase the glycogenolysis, you increase the aqueous humor production by beta 2. You increase the aqueous humor production by beta 2. What else was there? Yeah, tocolytic effect. What is tocolysis? Tocolysis means if you are decreasing the uterine tone. This is a uterus and uterine tone you are decreasing. Uterine tone you are decreasing. What will happen? That means tocolytic effect. You want to relax the ureter, not uterus, sorry. It is called tocolytic effect. Relaxing the ureter is called tocolytic effect. And the drugs which are used for this effect is tocolytics, tocolytics. Fine, tocolytics. What else you remember? Yeah, if you want to increase the potassium intake in the cell, which receptor will you stimulate? Beta 2. Beta 2. Yesterday, whatever I have told you to remember, do remember that first. This is additional. You have to understand. Okay. The mnemonic way I told you to remember is just used for the drugs, but this is physiology what I am talking. Okay. This will also help you definitely. Okay. This will also help you. Whatever, how much you can remember, it's up to you, and how much you can think. Okay. So beta 3 was where? Beta 3 was adipose tissue. coronary vessels and urinary bladder. So that means beta 3 should increase lipolysis, adipose tissue, increase lipolysis. It should increase heat production in heat production in heat production in skeletal muscle. Fine. And should it relax the bladder or contract the bladder? Should it relax the bladder or contract the bladder? It should relax the bladder. So bladder relaxation will increase by beta 3. Beta 3, bladder relaxation. Have you now understood this? Okay. I hope you have understood. So let me go to the drugs in the sympathetic system. Okay. Let me go to the drugs in the sympathetic system. So that means I should tell you some sympathomimetics. I should be telling you some sympathomimetics. Sympathomimetics are those drugs which are increasing the adrenergic activity. Adrenergic system is getting activated. Now again, I will be making a division for you. Adrenergic drugs. Adrenergic drugs can be divided into, I will make a clean classification for you downwards. So I make like this, adrenergic drugs, adrenergic drugs. Take another color. This is directly acting, and this is indirectly acting, mixed action. Okay, directly acting, indirectly acting, and mixed action. So directly acting is, they can be cats, they can be non-cats. What? They can be cats, they can be non-cats. Cats, non-cats. What is cats? Cats means catecholamines. Okay, I remember it like this. They can be cats, they can be non-cats. Okay, so cats is and, this is my mnemonic. Cats is and non-cats is fed. Non-cats is fed. If you don't remember my mnemonics, then it will be difficult for you to learn. I'm promising you. Okay. Even today, when you ask the fourth year people, they start speaking something which is out of this world. Okay. Like the same way you are saying, the receptors become dominant. Okay. Same way you people speak. Illogical things. Cat is adrenaline. Cats is adrenaline. Noradrenaline. Dopamine. So cats, I should have made two divisions. Okay, I should have made two divisions. In cats, please note it here. I want to shift it here. I'm sorry. I forgot to say something. Okay, directly put it here. Cats, I have to put it. Why it's not working? Yeah. So cats has further two. Cats has two. One is endogenous. That's why I remember endo. This is my own mnemonic. This is my own mnemonic. Not you can't find it in internet. This is my own mnemonic. Okay. I love pharmacology. Cats endogenous, endo and adrenaline, noradrenaline, dopamine, endo. Then we have exogenous. Exo is fed. I'm sorry. Okay. Exo is fed. Exogenous is fed. So F is phenolopam. I is isoprenaline. Isoprenaline. D is dopexamine. Dopexamine. Dobutamine. Dopexamine. Dobutamine. Dopexamine, dobutamine. Non-cats is close PSM. Close PSM. I love these mnemonics. I made them myself. Close PSM. Close PSM is clonidine, xylometazoline, phenylephrine, and salbutamol. Salbutamol, methoxamine. Okay, so this is clocks PSM. This is FIT. Okay, so indirectly acting again two. Indirectly acting again two. One are indirectly acting, that means they are not directly acting, they are doing something which is keeping that thing at one place. Like we had the anticholinesterases. Do we remember anticholin? They were indirectly acting anticholinetics. They were indirectly acting cholinomimetics. Like same way, indirectly acting, we have reuptake inhibitors. Reuptake inhibitors or displacement action. Displacement action. Reuptake inhibitors, what we have? Cocaine. Tricyclic antidepressants. Tricyclic antidepressants. TCA. Displacement action is by ma'am. What? Ma'am. Ma'am. What? Ma'am. Displacement ma'am. Remove the ma'am. Ma'am is so beautiful that she displaces everything, ma'am. Displacement action, that is modafinil. Modafinil, so they call modafinil. Okay. This medical science is so expanding that you can't learn everything. Okay. We don't know anything really. It's so vast. We don't know anything about medical science. We feel that we have finished, but no, so many things. That's why we enjoy holidays, isn't it? Amphetamines, modafinil, amphetamines, and methylphenidate. 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 Learn them by heart. Mixed action. Mixed action. Mixed engine. Ephedrine. Pseudoephedrine. Mephentermine. Mephentermine. So we have directly acting, we have catecholamines. In cats, we have endomines and adrenaline, noradrenaline, dopamine, exofid, 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 phenolidopam, isoprenaline, dopexamine, dobutamine. Non-cats is clox PSM, clonidine, xylometazoline, phenylephrine, salbutamol, terbutaline, albuterol, salmeterol. Don't remember that. Don't remember. Don't let me go in that. Then I start going into that medicines because I can't stop speaking. Methoxamine, methoxamine. Indirectly acting. Indirectly acting, I have to reuptake inhibitors displacement. Reuptake inhibitors displacement. Reuptake inhibitors cocaine, TCA, cocaine, TCA. Displacement. Modafinil, amphetamines, methylphenidate, adrenergic drugs, mixed action, ephedrine, mixed ephedrine, pseudoephedrine, mephentermine, mephentermine. Okay, you have written wrong. Okay, I never wrote like that. Okay, don't confuse me, my dear student. Don't confuse me. I have learned it by heart. Yeah, I have learned it by heart. Clocks PSM I have written in non-cats. What is the difficulty, guys? Okay, there is no difficulty. Okay, everything is perfectly right. Perfectly right. There is no, I think, no confusion. You can check the books. Okay, you can check the books. Wherever you find any doubt, please let me. Okay. Now, guys, what is happening is, if I talk about the directly acting, what they will do, they will directly go to alpha receptors. If I talk about directly acting, if I take them, what happens to this? Why this? There is some. Yeah. If I take these directly acting guys, if I take this directly acting, now I take this directly acting here. So if I take, first I want to tell everything general about this. See, directly acting will be directly going to the alpha receptors, will be directly going to the beta receptors and stimulating it, giving us a sympathomimetic activity. Fine. Indirectly acting will be doing what? They will be doing something so that they can increase the amount of noradrenaline in the synapse. Noradrenaline in the synapse. Okay. And there is one thing that you don't have to forget. That is the effect, whatever effect you want, that is not definitely necessary that it will go to that place and do that effect. It will depend on the number of receptors which are present in that place. It's not that they will follow your law of remembering that it's drug will go to that place and that will act, that will start vasodilation or vasoconstriction. No, it depends on the amount of receptors present at that point, at that organ. Even if you give a more amount of noradrenaline, the receptors are there, only two receptors, they will work as two receptors. Okay. Mixed action means they are showing us sympathomimetic action and also direct action as well as indirect action. Okay. Now see directly acting I will take. Okay. Indirectly acting sympathomimetics, what? They have been seen that they contain a dihydroxy benzene nucleus. They contain a dihydroxybenzene nucleus. Okay. If directly acting sympathomimetic contain a dihydroxybenzene nucleus, they are called CATs. They are called CATs. If they don't contain, then we call non-CATs. So that's why I told you, one we have CATs, one we have non-CATs. CATs, directly acting sympathomimetics with CATs, they should have dihydroxybenzene nucleus, and other goes for the other way. Okay, fine. So which of the following chart, they will ask you, which of the following is a synthetic catecholamine? Which of the following is synthetic catecholamine? Synthetic catecholamine. It is this FID. This FID. FID is synthetic catecholamines. Synthetic catecholamines. Synthetic catecholamines. Okay. Now, non-catecholamines have a problem. They are, no, non-catecholamines are, you can see their action as, they can be alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2. Okay. So alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, they can act on this. They can act on this. Okay. They can act on these receptors. They can act on these receptors. Now, I go now to the catecholamine part of directly acting sympathomimetics. I go into the catecholamine, this catecholamine part of directly acting sympathomimetics. So catecholamine part of directly acting sympathomimetics. Directly acting sympathomimetics, catecholamine part. That means I remember A and D. Adrenaline, noradrenaline, dopamine. Okay, these drugs are having short T half. These drugs are having short T half. Why? Because there are two enzymes which are rapidly inactivating them. One is MAO, another is COMT. These two enzymes, once they see these three people, they start inactivating them. They start inactivating them. Okay. So MAO and COMT, they will rapidly metabolize them. They will rapidly metabolize them. So this MAO is monoamine oxidase. MAO is monoamine oxidase. Monoamine oxidase. This monoamine oxidase will metabolize the catecholamines, that is all these adrenaline, noradrenaline, dopamine into inactivated form. And COMT is catechol O-methyl transferase. Catechol O-methyl transferase. So these two will be inactivating them. That's why they have a shorter half-life. Now these drugs are polar compounds. They are polar compounds. Now you will tell me whether they will cross the blood-brain barrier or not. If they are polar compounds, that means they are not soluble. That means they will not be able to pass the BBB, blood-brain barrier. That means a poor penetration into the CNS. Okay. Now you are talking about MAO. This MAO and COMT. Intestine has its own MAO COMT. Intestinal MAO, intestinal COMT. Liver has only MAO. Liver has MAO. So will they metabolize them also? Will they also eat them, destroy them? That's why we are not giving them orally. Okay. Now, what is the activity of adrenaline? Adrenaline. What is the activity of adrenaline? Adrenaline will be acting on alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2. Noradrenaline. A means all, N means not all, N means not all. Alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1. Okay. Isoprenaline. Isoprenaline has beta 1 and beta 2 only. If you want to say, sir, what about alpha 1? It has alpha 1. It has alpha activity, but very little. So I will be making, we used to draw like this. We used to make pillars like this. See, alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2. Alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1. Alpha, beta 1, beta 2, and alpha small. Alpha small. Clear? Okay. Is it clear? Now, if I take this epinephrine, okay, if I take this epinephrine, we are using this epinephrine as well. Since it's a catecholamine, I use it in injectable form. If I talk about the adrenaline, we are using this in injectable form. We inject it subcutaneously. We inject it subcutaneously. Once a patient comes to you with a cardiac arrest, he has a cardiac arrest. What we do is we used to give it intracardiac within the heart directly or IV route. IV route for cardiac arrest. Fine. Now, what is their effect on the heart rate and on the other systems? Okay. Now, what is who tells us? Who will tell me about this SBP, systolic blood pressure? So, systolic blood pressure is, what is systolic blood pressure? Who tells me? Who gives me the systolic blood pressure? Yeah, very nice answer. So it depends on my cardiac output, and diastolic blood pressure depends on my vessels, TPR, total peripheral resistance. My blood diastolic BP depends on total peripheral vessels, and my systolic BP depends on the cardiac output. Now, who is maintaining that cardiac output? It is the beta 1 receptor. beta 1 receptor on the heart who is maintaining this cardiac output. And this will be mostly relying on the alpha 1. And I have told you it's all about alpha 1, which is increasing the blood. Whenever you think of blood pressure, you have to think about the vessel status. You have to think about the vessel status. So alpha 1 stimulation will increase the diastolic BP by causing the vasoconstriction, while as beta 1 activation will lead to increase in the cardiac output by stimulating the myocardial contractility. Cyclic AMP increases. Now, beta 2, if I activate the beta 2, what will happen? I will be having a vasodilatation that will decrease the diastolic BP because of the vasodilatation. So leads to alpha 1 leads to increase in the systolic BP, while as beta 2 leads to reduction in diastolic BP because of the vasodilatation. Okay. So what will happen once you have an increase in the diastolic BP by the alpha 1 stimulation? What will happen? Your baroreceptor mechanism will start getting activated. Once your baroreceptor mechanism starts getting activated, they will start a reflex bradycardia. Once your BP is increasing, the diastolic BP, you will be having a reflex bradycardia via acetylcholine by stimulation of which receptors in the heart? M2 receptors. Your M2 receptors will be stimulated. Is it clear? Once you have decrease in the diastolic BP, that will increase the central sympathetic outflow, and that increase the heart rate. So we have two things learned. We learned two things. One thing, once you have decreased, once you have an increased diastolic blood pressure by increasing the alpha 1 mediated action, I will be increasing the diastolic BP, which will finally tell the central nervous system or the baroreceptor mechanism to send a reflex bradycardic agent, that is acetylcholine. Acetylcholine will come through, it will be secreted at what? M2 receptors. M2 receptors. I hope you remember that. Isn't it? SA node, AV node. Right vagus, left vagus. M2 receptors. Muscarinic receptors. Bradycardia. So this is about alpha 1 and alpha 2. Is it clear? Alpha 1 and alpha 2. Once you want to increase the systolic blood pressure, what will happen? You will be having an increase in the cardiac output. And if you want to do something with mess with the diastolic BP, you have to do mess with the blood vessels. So what will happen once I am giving noradrenaline? That we will be talking tomorrow. See you all. Take care. Enjoy MBBS and pharmacology. Fall in love with microbiology and pharmacology and histology and everything. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.